A Versace Stoner Christmas Carol, the gift of wrestling spirit. It was a cold Christmas Eve in the heart of the wrestling world. The Versace Stoner, host of the wildly popular VSW podcast, sat alone in his studio. The neon lights of his retro setup flickered softly, casting colourful shadows against the walls lined with memorabilia. Action figures of legends, signed championship belts, and rare wrestling posters surrounded him. But tonight, none of it sparked joy. The Versace Stoner was in a funk. Wrestling had become just another routine, and his podcast, usually fueled by his electric personality, felt like a chore. As he stared blankly at his recording equipment, he muttered, "Why bother? No one really cares about wrestling anymore. It's just stale." Suddenly, the lights in the studio flickered wildly, and a chill swept through the room. Before he could react, a glowing figure appeared in the corner. "Who's there?" the Stoner demanded, his voice trembling. The figure stepped forward, a shimmering image of Andre the Giant, his presence both intimidating and comforting. "Versace Stoner," the apparition boomed, "you have lost the fire for wrestling. But tonight, you will be visited by 3 spirits who will remind you why wrestling and your voice matter." Before the Stoner could reply, the room went dark. The spirit of wrestling passed. The first spirit appeared as a young boy, dressed in oversized wrestling merch and clutching a toy microphone. "Who are you?" the Stoner asked. "I am the spirit of wrestling past," the boy said with a grin. "Come with me." In a flash, they were transported to a dingy basement where a younger Versace Stoner sat cross-legged on the floor, glued to the TV. On the screen, larger-than-life wrestlers battled in epic matches. The young Stoner cheered, mimicking commentary with passion. "Remember this?" the spirit asked. "This is where it all began. Wrestling wasn't just entertainment, it was magic. Every suplex, every promo, every storyline lit a fire in you." The Stoner felt a pang of nostalgia. "I used to live for this," he admitted. The spirit of wrestling present. The next spirit arrived in a burst of pyrotechnics, decked out in a flashy robe reminiscent of Ric Flair's. "I am the spirit of wrestling present," he declared. "Let's see what's happening now." They appeared in a small wrestling venue packed with die-hard fans. Independent wrestlers were giving it their all in the ring, and the crowd was electric. "Look at them," the spirit said. "This is the heart of wrestling. The passion is alive, and your podcast gives these warriors a voice. Without you, many fans wouldn't know their names." The Stoner watched as a wrestler grabbed a mic, shouting, "Thanks to the VSW podcast for keeping the indie scene alive." A flicker of pride returned to his heart. The spirit of wrestling yet to come. The final spirit was shrouded in darkness, its face hidden beneath a hood. It said nothing as it transported the Stoner to a future where his studio was abandoned, his podcast forgotten. Wrestling had faded into obscurity, replaced by hollow entertainment. "No," the Stoner whispered. "This can't be. Wrestling deserves better. The fans deserve better." The spirit pointed to a dusty microphone, a symbol of his neglected passion. "I'll fix it," the Stoner vowed. "I won't let this happen." The Christmas morning revival. The Versace Stoner awoke with a start, back in his vibrant studio. The neon lights seemed brighter, and his wrestling memorabilia sparkled like new. Grabbing his mic, he hit the record button. "Welcome to a special Christmas episode of the VSW podcast. Wrestling fans, I'm here to tell you, our love for this sport is alive and well. Together, we'll keep the magic alive." He spent the day spreading the spirit of wrestling, highlighting indie stars, sharing classic moments, and engaging with fans. Messages poured in, thanking him for reigniting their passion. That night, the Versace Stoner sat by the window, watching the snow fall. Wrestling wasn't just a show, it was a community, a family, and he was proud to be its voice. Merry Christmas from the VSW podcast, where the spirit of wrestling lives forever.